Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's story is called The Revenge of the Guinea Pigs. I have a cat named Diva. She used to be an outdoor cat until she was fixed. Since then, she has been a total indoor cat because she does not like other cats and dogs. But we have a few pet rats and a few guinea pigs. She loves watching them from afar, but they are never allowed out unsupervised because of her. One day we let our brown guinea pig, Coco, out into the living room while we were home. Diva was laying on the couch across the room, but she could see Coco. She was not happy. So she jumped down off the couch and went over to the corner where Coco was, and slowly started creeping towards him. We told her no and tried to shoo her away, but it was too late. She pounced on Coco and killed him instantly. We were all really upset, so we buried him in the backyard. A couple weeks go by, and one night we hear scratching at about 2 a.m. My husband and I both wake up and start listening. It sounds like it's coming from the kitchen, and I'm thinking, great, Diva got into the dog food again. But then we start hearing squeaking, and I'm thinking, what in the world? Squeak, squeak, squeak. Then I hear Diva meow, and I'm like, oh no, this can't be good. We get up and start making our way to the kitchen very slowly. We turn on all the lights, and there's nothing anywhere. We finally look under the counter and see two little heads pop up and then two little bodies come scrambling out. They are two of our brown guinea pigs, Coco's brothers. They had gotten out somehow and were looking for Coco. They were squeaking because they couldn't find him. They were probably looking for him because he was their leader. They're normally really shy, but because of the situation, they came right up to us and started climbing all over our legs, squeaking the whole time. So we take them out to the backyard and put them back in their cage. Then we go to bed. In the morning after, of course, not sleeping at all, we tell our daughter to go check on the guinea pigs. She goes really pale and comes running downstairs yelling, "They're all dead!" Sure enough, when we went to check on them, they were all dead. Apparently during the night, Diva must have gotten in their cage and killed all three of them. She also knocked over their water bottle, which probably caused them to get really dehydrated. My husband and I were so upset. We got rid of Diva immediately, and we've been afraid to get any more guinea pigs since. This happened 5 years ago, and we still miss our little brown buddies. I hate that stupid cat. Our next Reddit post is from I'm Not Lazy. It's called Self-Preservation. When I was about 19, I had a full-time job, went to college part-time, and was trying to get my associate's degree. One of my teachers was a real piece of work, if you can even call her that. For reference, this teacher was in her mid-70s and looked like she hadn't seen a shower in decades. She smelled like stale cigarette smoke and cat urine. Her idea of teaching was to hand out busy work, make us rewrite papers, and not teach anything. Also, she was incredibly lazy. Now, you would think with her age she would be eager to retire, but no, she wanted to work extra hard. By that, I mean she would randomly assign papers due the next day that were over 40 pages long, or make us stay late after class to finish assignments that were obviously meant to take all night to complete. When we would call her out on it, she would just smile and say, "No, you can do it. Just stay late and finish it. That's what I want." Now, she assigned a lot of group projects and would let the students pick who they worked with. You would think this would stop me from picking her as my partner, but I had a brain fart and thought it would be funny to team up with her. Oh man, did that backfire. First off, I didn't have a car, so I had to get rides to her house, which was in the middle of nowhere. Once I got there, she would make me type up papers for her because she said she had arthritis and couldn't use the keyboard. Well, the only computer she had was an old desktop that had Windows 98 on it. After spending half my night typing, she would tell me to come back tomorrow and finish it. One day she tells me to come over and we need to work on a project together. I get there and she looks at me and says, "No, you go home and I'll come to you." So I drive her to my place, which was a 30-minute drive, and I spread out the papers on my bed so we could work on them. About 10 minutes into it, she starts asking me questions about the paper, and I start to notice she isn't reading the damn thing. She asked me things like, "What does this paragraph mean? And why is this word spelled like this?" At this point, I'm annoyed, but I help her out. Then she says, "You know, I really appreciate your help, but now I'm going to take a nap. Why don't you work on some of those papers?" So, I go through the papers and start editing them, which took me about 3 hours. Finally, I finished and I left them on the bed for her to look at before we handed them in. She wakes up from her nap and starts flipping through the papers, and she says, "Why are these so short?" I told her I followed the formatting guidelines we were given, and these were the required lengths. She told me to add another page to each of them, so I did. Then she told me to add another page and keep doing that until we had a total of 10 pages per paper. Well, I told her this was ridiculous and I was sick of her crap. I was done with the class, and I wasn't doing any more work for her. So I just sat there and stared at her. She got mad and started flipping out, saying I was going to fail the class, and this was going to hurt my GPA. I laughed and told her to go ahead and try to fail me. I didn't care. She stormed out of my house and I never saw her again. Turns out she failed me. I didn't go to her class anymore and she never finished my last project. Turns out she didn't finish anyone else's project either because she retired mid-semester. Good riddance. Our next Reddit post is from No Cookie. I work at a small business that deals with invoices and purchase orders. It's a pretty laid-back office, and people are allowed to play music through their headphones if they want. The problem is my new coworker has terrible taste in music. To say it's horrible would be a compliment. His music is so bad it hurts my ears. Whenever he listens to music at his desk, it bleeds into the other offices. I don't understand how anyone could listen to such awful music. Anyways, he kept playing this song on repeat, and I politely asked him to turn it down. He said he couldn't because he was trying to focus. Well, you can focus without blasting music, so I suggested he try focusing without it. He declined and said he needed it. So I went to our boss. Our boss spoke to my coworker, but it didn't help. So I recorded a minute of the music he was playing on my phone. I went back to our boss and played it for him. Our boss listened to it and cringed. He agreed it was awful and went to talk to him again. It was quiet for a few days, so I assumed everything was fine. Then I heard the dreadful tune again. I was so angry. I went to my coworker and told him I'd had enough. He said he'd only been playing it once and I was blowing smoke. I said I'd had enough and I wasn't going to ask him again. Then he started playing it again. I lost it. I went to his desk, unplugged his speakers, and left. He started yelling at me, but I didn't care. I went to our boss and told him I'd had enough. This time he sided with me and fired my coworker. Apparently he'd had several complaints from other employees, but he kept ignoring them. My boss apologized for not doing something sooner and gave me a raise. It was the best revenge ever. That was our sassy cat story. And if you liked this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes.